Então, a professora Sherry Lassiter é mestre pela Universidade de Harvard e diretora da Fab Foundation, uma entidade sem fins lucrativos destinada a promover a capacitação técnica das pessoas, ampliando suas possibilidades de desenvolvimento em sua comunidade local por meio do acesso a ferramentas e métodos de fomento à inovação. Sherry Lassiter é uma das idealizadoras do programa Fab Lab do MIT, uma rede internacional de laboratórios de fabricação digital de acesso público que inclui mais de 1.000 sedes em 75 países. So, thank you so much, Sherry, for accepting this invitation. We're really flattered and honored to have you here. It's a great pleasure for us that you could make it. Thank you.
Hello, world, as we like to say in technology. It's a great honor and a pleasure to be here today. What an incredible group of people we've heard from today. The network here is extraordinary. The work that's going on is extraordinary. But we've been sitting most of the day. So I would like to ask you all to stand up.
Ela quer que todo mundo levante.
I won't put you through Fabersize, which is what we usually do, but I'd like for everybody to stretch, okay? Just
todo
a
mundo
little
pode se
bit.
esticar.
Oh, yes. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? And then I want you to do what we like to do in the Fab Lab Network, which is to network. So could you turn around and introduce yourself to somebody that you don't know in the audience and take 30 seconds to introduce yourself and say hello.
Ela quer que vocês virem para o lado ou para trás e que se apresentem para uma pessoa que vocês não conhecem, que é uma coisa que a gente faz no Fab Lab.
Okay. All right, everybody, sit down. Thank you.
Pronto, acabou o tempo. Podem se sentar. Podem se sentar. Acabou. Eu sou a chata do tempo.
So what fun to be with you all today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the ecosystem of fablabs, .com, .org, and .edu today, just to give you a little perspective on the global network. So,
ela vai dar uma visão geral dessa rede mundial.
So this is a digital fabrication project. It was made with children in Ireland. It's a sheep construction kit. And as you can see, oops, I don't know if it's working. As you can see, what we did is we designed something in 2 dimensions. We cut it out on a laser cutter, and then we fit it together in 3 dimensions to make these fun little sheep.
Este exemplo que ela está dando é uma coisa desenvolvida para crianças, na qual elas têm uma folha onde você tem partes de um carneiro em 2D, e o que é interessante é que depois você monta em 3D.
And this was an afternoon doodle by a gentleman in India, Dhananjay. As you can see, it's a very simple circuit. It's just LEDs and resistors, but it's very expressive, it's very ephemeral, and it was a lot of fun for him to make.
Este é um projeto feito na Índia, em que você tem um sistema com LEDs e ele é muito simples, mas com a resistência, quando coloca a caneta, ele acende as luzes.
And then this is a project that one of our students at MIT did. It was a 2-week project. It's a multi-touch interface. It's probably about $10 worth of parts, and as you can see, he's done a very good job over about a week or 2 of designing this very cheap interface for his computer.
E esse é um exemplo de uma interface multi-touch que um aluno do MIT fez, que foi desenvolvido durante 2 semanas e custou apenas $10 para fazer.
And so all 3 of these projects were made in a digital fabrication facility called a fab lab. So we go from the very whimsical to the very, sort of self-expressive to the very technical, all in this one space we call Fab Lab.
Esses 3 projetos foram desenvolvidos em Fab Labs e o que é interessante é que eles têm uma questão de de expressão pessoal das pessoas que fizeram, mas ao mesmo tempo a necessidade da tecnologia que estava disponível no Fab Lab.
So at MIT, we kind of form our research around this idea of digital revolutions. So if you think about the first stage of the digital revolution, it was in the 1940s, and we went from analog to digital communication.
Então, na Revolução Digital, né, segundo o que é estudado no MIT, a primeira parte dela aconteceu nos anos 40, quando você foi nas telecomunicações, a gente vai do analógico para o digital.
And we're completely dependent on these things now.
E agora a gente já depende completamente do digital para a comunicação.
But in the 50s, we went from analog to digital computation. So if you see right here on the left-hand side, the black and white picture, it's a room-size computer made by Vannevar Bush, and it was an analog computer. And the joke was that the longer you asked the question, the worse the answer became.
Aí, nos anos 50, a gente passa da computação analógica para a computação digital. E aí ela está mostrando uma imagem de um computador que ocupava um espaço de um cômodo, de um quarto inteiro, porque ele era analógico. E o que se dizia naquela época assim, que quanto melhor Sorry, the question? The longer you ask the question, the worse the answer became. Quanto mais longa fosse a pergunta que você estava fazendo, pior seria a resposta. Com esse tipo de computador.
But now, of course, we have a very different computational universe, one that we depend on that's reliable and repeatable and terrific. So.
E agora nosso tipo de computação já é muito diferente.
But right now we're in the middle of this transition from analog to digital fabrication. So we're moving from rooms full of, or factories full of computer-controlled machinery to this idea of digital materials. So materials that self-assemble into the form and the function that you tell them to, and that can also have the advantage of recycling themselves into something else when you reprogram them.
E agora a gente já está se movendo de um mundo em que você tem fábricas, onde você tinha equipamentos, máquinas controladas por computador, para os materiais que são... would that be like smart materials? Or, yes. Yeah. Que você tem materiais inteligentes, que você tem algum tipo de conhecimento nesse material.
So at the Center for Bits and Atoms, this is where the Fab Lab idea came from. We marry physical science and computer science. And so when you think about making, say, a smart building or a smart environment, you have to think about how do you design an environment that's got millions of parts? What do the materials look like? How do you program a building? How do you debug a building when something goes wrong? So all of the things that you start to think about when bits meet atoms in this very intelligent world that we're building.
A ideia que está por trás do Center for Bits and Atoms, né, o centro de bits de computador e átomos, é como que você pode programar as coisas desde das menores unidades que elas têm. I'm summarizing.
So you might ask me, what is a Fab Lab or a makerspace or a hackerspace or an innovation hub? We hear all these words in connection with the maker movement. You know, what is a Fab Lab exactly? And we believe that, yes, it's these, wonderful computer-controlled, sophisticated pieces of equipment, but really it's about that. It's about what you see at the bottom. It's a community of practice. It's a community of people who want to share knowledge and collaborate. It is a community of people who want to change the world using technology as their enabling platform.
Então, o que é um Fab Lab? Você pode dizer que é uma somatória de máquinas, mas é muito mais do que isso, é uma comunidade de pessoas que querem trabalhar juntas e que querem mudar o mundo a partir desse tipo de conhecimento.
And so a fab lab, this is a fab lab, this is a typical fab lab. It has all of the sort of digital fabrication machines. It has a way to communicate with the rest of the fab labs in the world. We do electronics and programming. This happens to be a fab lab in Iceland that is run by a gentleman named Frosty, which is very fun. But what we concentrate on fab labs is digital fabrication, right? Computer-controlled, computer design tools and then computer-controlled equipment to make things.
Então, esse daí é um exemplo de o que tem no Fab Lab, que são essas máquinas de fabricação digital, equipamento de comunicação para você entrar em contato com os outros Fab Labs, equipamentos de eletrônica e que você também que te permitem programar. Esse daí é um exemplo na Islândia. E, basicamente, você tem coisas que são desenhadas, projetadas por computador e feitas com controle de computador.
And so since we installed the first Fab Lab in rural India in 2001, we've grown this network of more than 1,000 labs in about 80 countries.
Então, eles têm agora uma rede de 1.000 laboratórios em 80 países.
And what we've done is we've accidentally built this global infrastructure that we can now leverage for global education, for global applied research projects, for global businesses, collaborative businesses or franchises, and for solving local technical challenges with a global community of expertise.
Então, eles têm agora essas aplicações na área de educação, de pesquisa, de negócios também, né, empreendedorismo, e eles têm essa rede global de expertise, né, de conhecimento que pode ser compartilhado.
And so there's potential for great impact using these technology sort of innovation centers, so to speak. But I want to show you something that will give you some perspective. If you think about the maker movement, the maker movement includes things like fab labs, maker spaces, tech shops, hacker spaces, innovation hubs. This map was is a beginning of a amalgamation of all of those sort of spaces, and this map in and of itself has 4,500 sites on it. If you think about it, 4,500 sites distributed across the world in that way, we have a lot of potential to make great impact in the world. And so I want you to kind of think about that as you think about Fab Labs and about what you're going to do in Fab Labs if you have one.
Ela está falando agora sobre o impacto que essa inovação toda pode trazer, né? Então, se a gente pensar em termos do Maker Movement, não apenas dos Fab Labs do MIT, que aí você vai incluir também os hackerspaces, os makerspaces, etc. A gente tem aí nesse mapa 4.500 pontos e aí você imagina o impacto que isso pode trazer para a economia do mundo.
The impact is, the potential for impact is so great that the World Economic Forum has invited us over several years to come and participate because these machines, these digital fabrication machines, which are really small-scale manufacturing machines, they're becoming so cheap and so accessible around the world that we really are approaching a time when anybody, anywhere can make anything, and that changes everything.
O impacto realmente é tão grande que o Fórum Mundial de Economia chamou eles para falarem sobre a rede deles, de Fab Labs, nos anos de 2012 e 2014. E hoje você pode pensar que as máquinas de fabricação digital estão ficando tão baratas que a gente pode começar a pensar que todo mundo vai ter sua própria máquina.
And if you think about it, if anybody anywhere can manufacture, it changes the way we think about design, it changes supply chains, it changes the way we market, the way we finance, absolutely everything about the way we think about manufacturing and customizing changes when you have anybody anywhere that can make anything.
Quando você pensa que agora qualquer pessoa pode fazer qualquer coisa, então isso muda a maneira que a gente pensa, né, que a gente conceitua o design, a distribuição de coisas, né, de materiais, o mercado de uma maneira geral. Yeah, well, people who can speak English and Portuguese will tell me later how good this is going.
And as you might imagine, the White House in the United States President Obama is very interested in this because he believes, he held the first Maker Faire at the White House a couple of years ago. We were invited along with many other makers, and it was to sort of demonstrate how important strategically this is to sort of the technological cutting edge that our country wants to, stay on the pioneering edge of, but I think this is the same for many countries around the world. It's a very important strategic move to support innovation, especially technical innovation in the population.
Bom, aí é exemplo de isso é tão importante que até na Casa Branca, né, o presidente dos Estados Unidos também está tendo esses eventos ligados à cultura maker. Isso mostra quão estado da arte isso como que isso é uma coisa estratégica, uma manobra estratégica para realmente levar para a inovação.
So let's talk a little bit about the .edu, so educational innovations in the network. This is the MIT class called How to Make Almost Anything. And in the course of one semester at MIT, you learn all the tools and processes of digital fabrication, along with some electronics and programming. And at the end of the semester, you have to come up with a project that integrates all the knowledge that you learned and that is a functional system. And so it's an amazing class. All of the students absolutely love it, except for the ones that just get very frustrated and run away. But what you see here, you see the parrot over here, the parrot in front of a monitor. This is an early project from How to Make Almost Anything. This parrot, this gentleman built a web browser so that his parrot could visit other parrots online when he got bored.
Is that a parrot? A parrot? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I cannot see really well from here. Bom, ela está falando do ponto de vista educacional, né? Ela está explicando essa disciplina que tem no MIT, chamada Como Fazer quase qualquer coisa. Ela envolve, durante um semestre, aulas sobre eletrônica e programação, e eles têm que fazer um sistema no final do semestre que seja realmente funcional, ou seja, não é só um protótipo para você, assim, um protótipo visual, mas ele tem que realmente funcionar. E daí ela está falando desse papagaio que fica na frente. Na verdade, eu não entendi direito. I didn't get it exactly what the parrot does. What the parrot does?
So the parrots get very bored during the day and they get very noisy. And so this guy didn't want his parrot to be noisy. So he wanted his parrot to be entertained by visiting other parrots.
Então o papagaio ele fica meio entediado, então ele tem que visitar outros papagaios online, tal. Então é um negócio mais ou menos assim, não entendi direito.
And then right here you see this gentleman right next to a dress dummy. This was a project made by an architect. It's a dress that protects your personal space. So if a gentleman comes too close, it deploys spines to keep you 2 feet away.
Esse daí foi um projeto desenvolvido por um arquiteto, que é uma roupa que protege o seu espaço pessoal ao seu redor. Se alguém chega muito perto, ele começa a soltar espinhos, que evitam que as pessoas se aproximem demais de você.
And this is a nice project. This is a router plotter. That's made from a three-dimensional Lego circuit. So each piece of Lego has one part of the circuit on it, and as you construct your Lego, you construct your control mechanism, as it were.
Essa é uma router, que é uma fresadora e plotter, que ela é feita com partes, tipo um Lego, que você monta, e cada um tem parte do circuito, e quando você bota tudo junto, ela funciona como uma fresadora.
And so this is an example of a project maybe a couple of years old. This young lady is a student, and students hate to get up in the morning and they hate alarms, so she created her own solution.
Então, esse daí é um projeto feito por uma estudante 2 anos atrás, que ela, em geral, os alunos, os estudantes não gostam dos despertadores, porque eles não gostam de acordar de manhã, então ela fez a sua própria solução para acordar de manhã.
So Carolina is not an engineer. She's more of an arts and culture student. But what she did is when she took the course, she pulled for the knowledge that she needed, the advanced technical knowledge she needed. She applied it right away, and that turns out to be an extraordinarily powerful learning experience that we see happen over and over again in How to Make Anything and also in Fab Labs.
Então, a Carolina é uma aluna de artes que também não tinha conhecimento técnico, mas quando ela aprendeu a lidar com essa parte técnica, isso deu muito poder para ela fazer várias coisas.
So you've heard a lot about Fab Academy. Basically what we've done is we've repackaged the MIT course, How to Make Almost Anything, for the global network now. And Barcelona Fab Lab and the Fab Foundation sort of administer the course. But what we do is we gather online through a video conferencing system once a week for 2 or 3 hours. We go over homework, we do the lecture, and then during the week, peers work with peers and with teaching assistants in their fab lab to do the homework, and they have the opportunity to reach into other labs that have different expertise to help support the process of learning some of the deeper technical knowledge that's needed. And so this is what Fab Academy is. Each Fab Lab in the network ends up being a classroom in a global campus.
Bom, então, a Fab Academy, juntamente com o laboratório, o Fab Lab de Barcelona, eles fizeram essa Fab Academy online, em que você tem palestras que são dadas uma vez por semana, algumas vezes por semana, e depois as pessoas desenvolvem projetos localmente no seu laboratório.
And so here's a few of the projects. These are musical stepping stones. This is both a cooker and a refrigerator that uses one energy source, and then of course a personal trainer. And these are some other machines and interesting things that have come out of the network. In general, what we're finding, the bottom one here is a 5-axis hot wire, which is pretty sophisticated for a 2-week project. But I think by and large what we're finding is that all the projects that are coming out of Fab Academy are as sophisticated as what we see coming out of MIT, and that's pretty exciting.
Coming out of this? Esse é bom, acho que nem precisa traduzir porque vocês estão vendo aí, ela está descrevendo os projetos que os alunos fazem.
And this is one of my favorite from this year. This is from Fab Lab Taipei, and it's a foot massager.
Esse é projeto para massagem nos pés, em Taipei.
So anyway, they're very, very creative, all of the projects that are coming out of the labs, and we're very excited about them. This is so far, How to Make Almost Anything is really the only class that Fab Academy has offered. But in the fall of last year, in the fall of this past year, we offered How to Grow Almost Anything, which is a similar approach, but for bioengineering and do-it-yourself biology, biohacking. And we learned this is run by, the How to Make Almost Anything class is run by Professor Neil Gershenfeld, who's the head of the Center for Bits and Atoms and sort of heads the global Fab Lab network. This particular class is headed by George Church at Harvard University. And in the course of one semester, we go from, you learn anything from DNA, nanostructures to computational protein design, which is a pretty sophisticated set of skills.
Bom, este curso, ela disse que no segundo semestre do ano passado, ao invés da disciplina tradicional de como fazer quase qualquer coisa, eles deram a disciplina como fazer crescer quase qualquer coisa. Então, eles têm uma versão mais ligada à biologia, foi dada por um outro professor, que não o Neil Gershenfeld, que normalmente dá, e foi dada em Harvard, e aí eles aprendem sobre DNA e nanoestruturas e coisas mais ligadas à biologia.
And as you saw earlier, one of the really exciting things, and Garajan was one of the labs that's really was piloting this and is sort of leading the way, is that if you bought all of the equipment that you needed for the bioengineering class, in fact, you'd probably have to spend about $45,000 or $50,000. And in fact, through online open source designs and or knowledge sharing, they were able to create the same set of tools for 5,000 real, right, which is about 1,400 or 1,500 US dollars. So that's pretty exciting, and that's part of what how to grow almost anything is about.
Então, ela está mostrando esse kit que o Eduardo já mostrou do Garagem. É um kit de equipamentos para um laboratório de biologia que normalmente custaria $50.000 e você consegue fazer por R$5.000. Então, esse é um exemplo de coisa que você pode usar para trabalhar com coisas de biologia de uma maneira mais acessível.
So this is pointing for a new direction for Fab Academy, and we're basically building the Academy of Almost Anything, or Academy. And this fall we will offer not only how to make almost anything and how to grow almost anything, but also a machine design and machine building course called Machines That Make, as well as some customized courses for specific populations like teachers or lab gurus.
Bom, aí ela está falando que, na verdade, agora eles vão começar a pensar nessa academia de praticamente qualquer coisa, na qual você vai ter o curso de como fazer qualquer coisa, como fazer crescer quase qualquer coisa, e com cursos também voltados especificamente para professores ou para gurus de Fab Labs.
So, when you think about not higher education, but K through 12, so kindergarten through high school, there's an awful lot of interest now in bringing digital fabrication into the formal classroom. And there are a lot of people here in Brazil that are working on this right now. Very exciting work. The foundation, we have a project called Fab Ed, and that's our partners are, high schools, ministries of education, innovation centers, universities, Maker Ed, you name it. Everybody is interested in this, and so we're looking very much forward to working with you here in Brazil to develop some of the tools that teachers need to bring this into the classroom, as well as some of the resources and curriculum that students will need to move forward with digital fabrication in the classroom.
Bom, então tem essa vertente também do Fab Lab, que é o Fab Ed, de educação, no qual eles estão se associando, a várias escolas, desde o kindergarten, que é o jardim da infância, até o ensino médio. E aí eles estão desenvolvendo as ferramentas que os professores precisam para trazer esses equipamentos de fabricação digital para a sala de aula e ajudar no ensino.
So now turning to .com, sort of the money side of things, which can be pretty controversial sometimes. This is an invention that Barcelona Fab Lab created along with about 4 or 5 other Fab Labs in the world. It's a great example of a collaborative project across the network. They built for the Solar Decathlon this solar house, or Fab House. Everything in it pretty much was made in a Fab Lab. The thing that's most interesting about it is it is a parametric design. And so you plug in your longitude and your latitude, and it optimizes the design for where you are in the world.
Bom, esse daí é um exemplo de projeto que foi desenvolvido pelo Fab Lab de Barcelona. Ele foi desenvolvido por um concurso internacional que se chama Solar Decathlon, que é um concurso de arquitetura de uma casa que tem que ser sustentável. Esse aí eles chamam ela de casa solar. E o que é interessante é que é um projeto paramétrico, no qual você informa para o sistema paramétrico qual é a latitude e longitude onde esse edifício vai estar, e ele automaticamente faz todos os ajustes necessários para eles ter a melhor resposta do ponto de vista de sustentabilidade, conforto térmico, etc.
This is another global project. This is called FabFi. It was created by an organization called FabFolk Incorporated, and Dr. Amy Sun. But basically, it's an ad hoc wireless network. You create the antennas and the routers in the Fab Lab, and you deploy it from the Fab Lab, and you maintain it from the Fab Lab, and it gives access for free or paid, depending on your choice, as a business to anyone within reach. So we started this in actually we started at MIT with a radio project, and then we went to northern Norway where we tested the antenna design. Then we went to South Africa where we tested it on the first commercial system. And then it went to Jalalabad, Afghanistan, where we deployed the first network across the city. And then now it's in Nairobi, Kenya, where it has turned into a commercial business. And all the files and the information are online, open source for free, such that communities can follow the same pattern.
Bom, aqui, dando seguimento a essa parte que ela está falando sobre as aplicações comerciais, né? Ela está mostrando um projeto de design de antenas, que começou na MIT, depois foi para a Noruega, a África do Sul, Quênia e tal, e que agora esses arquivos são de acesso aberto e estão todos disponíveis para download. I'm summarizing, otherwise we don't finish.
So here are some examples of businesses that have been created, or 3D printing businesses that have been created from Fab Labs. The first one, MakerBot, I'm sure you probably recognize that name. They started tinkering and playing with their ideas in our mobile Fab Lab in